welcome you to Bascome's Corner. Today I want to talk to you about change. You know, when we're looking at change, change is making something different, becoming different. And at this present time, many of us had to make some changes in their life. Seeing change of jobs. Somebody just got fired or furloughed. Having to change their culture and climate in their household. Being home more often than they are. See, when change comes, there's many things that affects, and also comes fear. With change sometimes comes with fear. So if you find yourself having to change your diet, this new workout that you have to be on, it can create fear if we are not structured when we're going through this process of changing. As simple as rescheduling yourself. If you're home most of the day because of the current situation we're in, what does that look like? Change makes you feel uncomfortable. And right now I know it's many of us, or many of you, that feel uncomfortable with what we're going through. If we're not prepared for change, change will become difficult. So what I want to talk about today is creating a little toolbox to organize and structure as we're going through this change. So there's a couple of things we're going to talk about. Is the first thing, what is your why? When you're looking at making these changes, you've got to have a why and you've got to have a purpose. What is your why and what is your purpose? So I want to give you a couple of tools, have a little conversation with you on what this looks like and what change will look like, because change will not happen overnight. There's some of us that are going through this process and has accepted change, that wants to change, and there's some are not bothered about change, and some are not sure in that denial. We have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So let's go through this conversation. Let's go over here and have this conversation about change. Because the worst thing you want is not being prepared for when change happens. Because change is happening now, and some are still in denial. Some hasn't realized is that, oh wow, I have to now change my norms. You're gonna create new norms, new goals, new objectives. Let's come over here and talk about change. So let's continue this conversation about change. We talked about before you can make any change in your life, no matter what it is, there's two areas we have to cover first. And that's what is your why and what is your purpose. What is your why? Your why is your emotional being. The why is what gets you up in the morning. The why is what drives you just when things are getting tough. Your why is what gets you moving. Your why is what gets you into that state that nobody can get you out. That state of, I can do it at all costs, no matter what. The why is what pushes you through the hard work and allows you to go through pain. So your why is your emotional stakehold. So when you're going through change, it's the why that's gonna drive you. It's the why that's gonna say, you know what, I lost my job. I have to be comfortable. It's why am I doing this? What does this look like at the end of the day? Your second area, when you're going through change, you're gonna have to have a purpose. You must have a purpose of what you want to do. So the purpose is what you want to achieve. So for instance, if I'm changing and struggling with my diet, don't just do it without a purpose. See, the why is going to get you to grind more. The why is going to get you to grind on the Monday or Tuesday. The purpose is what you want to achieve. I'm waking up, I'm emotionally connected. Now I can achieve something. So you gotta have your why and your purpose. See, when changing anything we're looking to do, it could be as simple as changing a schedule. Changing my schedule through each day right now, being more home with the young people, you're gonna have to have this purpose. It has to be laid out for you. And also teaching your young people, because they have to be able to have an emotional and social connection to anything they're doing in life, and especially now. So I like to search out tools, and I found one that actually didn't find it. There was a young lady in Bermuda, a principal, that shared it with me. And it's amazing because no matter what I am doing, I'm able to use this. I'm able to use this basic little tool. And I used it a part of the pieces for my change. I had to change some of the things I was doing to win championships. I had to change some of the things I was doing to want to be successful. So I used this process. It's called the PIXN model. And what it is that the P is the purpose. The V is your vision. The I is your ideas, putting it all together. And the S is for structuring, and the N is for your next steps. So now when I'm teaching and going through process and doing anything that's empowering and leading young people, what I'm able to do is have them to structure, no matter what they're doing, in this model. So let's go through it, right? Let's go through change. So when I'm looking at, the first thing I want to do is focus on my purpose. What is the purpose of things that I'm trying to change? If it's changing my schedule, what is the purpose of me changing the schedule? What is the purpose of me going through a new diet? What is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of me having to kind of fill out new applications? What is the purpose of, creating this awesome circle of friends? What is the purpose? So you jot some ideas down in your purpose. Now you gotta have a vision. Where do you want to go? If you're looking to change, what do you want out of it? What does that look like? You got to be able to forecast. Not just what's happening today or tomorrow. You have to forecast. So that vision. Because a blind man can have vision. I remember this show, Mr. Magoo. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember Mr. Magoo. Mr. Magoo was a cartoon character that was blind, and for the whole show blind, but found his way. You're gonna have to have the vision and be creative, and be, like imaginary. Okay, because you gotta think outside the box. The next thing you're gonna have to do is get all these awesome ideas. All these ideas, I like to call them balloons. Throw all these balloons up in the air, and what you're gonna do, you're gonna take your purpose, take your vision. Now you're gonna structure some ideas when in this change process. Okay, so I'm gonna change, and I wanna do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna change, I'm looking to change my diet. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. Throw these ideas together. Because once you do that, what you're doing is now creating your own structure around your change, because you want the change to be something that becomes sustainable. You don't want to change for a minute. You want this change to last. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to get all this purpose, you got your vision, you got your ideas. Now you have to structure it. See, structuring, it's not just something you put in place. You got to create a timeline. You have to create, if you're changing your club or a director changing jobs, or you're trying to change or start a new event, or trying to change something inside of the household, you structure it. This means is that you're gonna have to now create a timeline, create some sort of curriculum. You're gonna have to have objectives. Under that structure, you're gonna have to set goals. And the other thing that you cannot fear, you're gonna have to do an observation and evaluation. Because let's say is that right now I wanna change my schedule. So your evaluation could come after the first week of what my schedule should look like. And you do an observation. And when you're doing that observation, I want you to use this process. Another tool I learned is what is my strengths from this new change and what are my opportunities of growth. And you list them, not what are my strengths and negatives. This symbol is a Greek symbol of change, the triangle. So you want to write that down as you're going through your observation. And the last thing I can share with you, we gotta have a next steps and you gotta be able to have action. Many people want change, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in the action part. They think it's just gonna happen. And I want you to be very mindful is that when making this process and making change, there comes a timeline. You're gonna have to be patient because when I look at my line of change, and if you're here, and these are the people or the ones that want change. This group unsure of change. This group not bothered about change. So what happens is that when you're making change, you're gonna have to be patient because after you get off of this betrayal to yourself, oh wow, change, I'm not bothered. But if you want it, you're gonna go past that. So when you go past that, next step is gonna be, you're gonna be in a little bit denial. Yeah? That uncertainty, I think I want it. It seems like it's working, but I'm unsure. When you get past that, you're gonna be going through that little, it's like a little crisis. It's called identity crisis, right? You're gonna go to that identity crisis. Yeah, the identity crisis. Where do I fit in? What does this look like? And once you get through that, you're gonna search for solutions. And once you reach that stage, it's only when change will occur. That takes time. Now, this is for the ones who want change. As the ones who want change is up on identity crisis, the ones who are unsure about change could be just starting. They could be still just getting on denial. And the ones who does not bother about change may still be stuck here, but that is not your problem. See, when you're building your cultural climate, means build people around you. Build people around you that's gonna look for that same change. Because when you're making change and you're going through this process, and if people around you are still unsure about change or not bothered about change, you're gonna have to figure out the circle that you wanna be in. So that's it for today. That's it for today. Again, with change becomes great fear. You gotta let that fear go through you, pass you, over you, and under you. And when that fear is gone, it's now you left standing alone. And as you're going through this change, I want you to also remember, you're gonna have to shift your mindset. You're gonna have to shift your mindset. And I want you to be comfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's what will happen when you're making change. I want to thank you very much, and I appreciate you supporting me for many years and clicking on and watching Bascome TV. Make sure you share, and after you watch, make sure you subscribe to Bascome TV. Thanks. See you next week.